All right then, 80% win rate strategy. I'm not going to mess around in this video at all. I'm just going to get straight into it. No preamble whatsoever. As always, I appreciate you being here. So I'm basically going to explain the strategy and then I'm going to give you some examples. If you do want services, signals or alerts for this, you can get them down in the description. Okay, so basically this is the strategy. You've got your market accumulation. The market does this all the time. As you can see, there's a perfect example right here on NQ right now. This is the strategy. You're looking for a good level of liquidity below. You can see this is a nice area here where I'm sure there are lots of stop losses, just like this, where people have got longs. And then obviously they might be right, but they're going to get swept out and then the market's going to continue. You're looking for this concept of accumulation, manipulation, and then a distribution. And right now, this is how we're going to trade the strategy. So we've got our accumulation, we come down, we get our manipulation. And then what you're looking for is this lovely V-shape back to the upside. This would be what you're looking for pretty much every single trade that I take on this channel. The V-shape recovery style strategy that's been made popular by 3 or 4 different ICT traders over the past few years. I've started picking up on this and it's been pretty incredible, to be honest. This is the strategy that I've been trading. You basically look for your accumulation, you get your manipulation. You got this nice V-shape back to the upside. Ideally, you want to see the reversal back around, looking something like this, 6 or 7 candles. And you want to see that lovely, lovely little fair value gap being created that we can basically come back and close above again. Obviously, when you get a big move to the downside and sweep liquidity, generally you make these fair value gaps, which are essentially big areas in price where there aren't very many orders, and you can reverse back through these really quickly with good momentum. If that's the case, then you could be on for a good trade with this strategy. So this is what you're looking for. You get your inverted fair value gap like this. Let's say this is this, but this is with candles. And then what you would do was you wait for your candle to close back above this inverted fair value gap, targeting a 1-for-1. Manual stop loss if we close back below this inverted fair value gap down here. I don't trade with hard stop losses because there's a lot of times where price will wick down, stop you out, and then continue like this. So I like to wait and have a manual stop loss. As you can see, this would be a lovely, lovely little trade here. You basically enter on this inversion here with the candle closing above. You're targeting a 1-for-1, and then usually once you hit a 1-for-1, I like to leave runners to the high of day since we're at all-time highs, and also just a liquidity point that's around halfway up as well. And this is the strategy, pretty simple stuff. And I'm going to show you some really good examples of this on the charts now. So let's get into it. Took a trade yesterday on NQ. Let's take a look at it. Very, very interesting trade this was. I actually took this on the 30-second. Unfortunately, I don't have the 30-second on TradingView because I'm not paying £50 a month just to have the 30-second time frame. But this was a really, really nice trade. You can see what we've got here. We've got a sweep of the high. We come down, we get a lovely sweep of the low. You can see the V-shape forming here. Once we swept this really obvious level of liquidity, after all this accumulation, we've got this nice sweep of the high, sweep of the low. And I was thinking, okay, this is going to be a good trade. The 30-second, you can't see it on this chart, but it looked, I'll show you exactly what it looks like. It was something like this. It was a really big, obvious fair value gap like this. There is a 1-minute fair value gap here, but I wouldn't have traded this because it's too small. You can see it's less than 4 points. It's not very obvious. And even though, as I've just said in the rules, this took a little while in terms of candles to play out. When I saw the momentum of this candle here, I was fairly sure that this was going to work out. So basically what I did was I entered on this candle here. We got our 1-for-1 pretty much on the next 30-second candle to the upside. Lovely, lovely trade. And then once we get a 1-for-1, I take half my position off, close half, and then basically set the rest to break even, and then I just have runners up to the high. I had a runner that was halfway up the position like this, and then I had a runner to the high. As you can see, lovely, lovely trade. Worked out pretty much for a 3R or at least a 2.5R, I would say. You take half off here, and then half off here. Overall, a really, really good trade. We did have a bit of a retrace and then a big continuation. Obviously, we're at all-time highs. As you can see, there was a retrace here followed by targeting that all-time high level, which was up here. You could have had one more runner that would have ran all the way up to this, and that would have worked as well for a big, big gain. But I think 3R was enough for me on this trade. Really, really good trade. Really enjoyed trading this one. And as you can see, it's a pretty textbook example of that V shape that you're looking for. This was particularly nice because we swept the high here and we got this good momentum down. And I knew as soon as I started seeing this that we were going to come down, sweep this low, take out all those stop losses that think we're going to go up to all-time highs, sweeping out all that liquidity, and then we go to all-time highs. It's so amusing, isn't it, how so many people here, they're trying to target the all-time high, but they get swept out, and then the all-time high does get swept. So it's that classic accumulation. You've got that. We had a bit of a pump on this because we did have this news data here that pumped us up. We came down, we got that manipulation. Oh, excuse me. You'll have to apologize for my voice today, by the way. I am very sick. But as we can see, we came down, we got that manipulation below, and then we got distribution all the way up to the all-time high. Beautiful, beautiful trade, absolute banger. And the trade that I took yesterday, that was really, really good. There was also a trade on Wednesday, which was really, really nice as well. If you look at this one was a bit of a crazy one, a bit of a weird session because we had a bit of a strange grind to the downside here. We never really got a clean sweep. We kind of started to bounce up. There were a few trades that I took that were a 1R and break even. You can see this one here. This was a pretty good one. You can see we came down here. We kind of started to consolidate. We did take out quite a few levels of liquidity here, as you can see. We kind of consolidated here, and then we got the accumulation, the manipulation lower, and then you can see we got this nice inverted fair value gap with good momentum to the upside. I did actually take this. As you can see, the 1R on this one did hit pretty much straight away. And then I left the rest for I took a half off, as I would say, went up to break even, waiting for us to come up and potentially come back up through some of these levels of liquidity here in this V shape like this. But the price action never really got that momentum that we usually see. Obviously, with all this accumulation at these lows here and no clean sweep, you'd probably expect a bit more of a choppy session, because obviously we didn't really get what I would be looking for those really good setups, which is just that clean V shape back up like this. You can see we kind of ground to the downside, then got the manipulation, then ground to the upside. So basically what happened on this one was I took half off a 1R, left the rest for a running, and then we got stopped at break even here, as you can see. We had a few of these actually. There was another one here, which was a re-entry, which I actually took as well, which was just here. You could see this hit a 1R as well. If my magnet would allow me to actually put a 1R. You can see this came up and hit a 1R and then got stopped at break even as well. And after that, I was like 2 1R trades. I'll probably call it a day on this one. And then we got Trump yapping his gums. This massive, massive move to the downside. Big V shape potentially forming here. And I was thinking, if we see ourselves come down here and get a really nice run to the downside, we're going to potentially have a good trade. You can see this big move to the downside starting to form. I started to see us stop and then all of a sudden getting this big momentum back to the upside. I was thinking this 1 minute time frame, fair value gap here is probably too big. So I tried to look for a higher time frame entry that I could probably get in on. I was looking at the 2 minute, thinking the 2 minute looks pretty good. Potentially here, something like this. I think I ended up settling on the 3 minute, which I think was this one, or it could have been this whole series. Because obviously, when you've got these big swings and this big news going off, you want to be sure that you're going to get that V shape back up. So I think I waited for the 3 minute on this one. You can see we finally got the close above there. Absolutely, as I've been saying again and again, textbook V shape here. You can see 1, 2, 3 candles down and then massive 1, 2, 3, 4 candles back up. Really, really clean V shape. Big momentum candles back to the upside here, cleaning out all of this liquidity. I entered on this. This was a really big stop loss, so I entered it with half size. I don't know why that bug happens where you can't see the quantity there. But this was a pretty interesting trade. I had a feeling that this one would work out just because you very rarely see these big V shapes fail. When you see this huge V shape back up, it's very rare that you come back towards this low here. So we'll play it on anyway. And as you can see, this one was a bit of a slow burner. It took a while to come up, but eventually we did come up and hit that 1R. At which point I went to break even, took half off and went to break even as always, targeting some of these higher levels of liquidity. We've got this level up here that I wanted to go and see get hit. Had a little bit of chopping around. We're chopping around. And then eventually we go in and hit it. On this particular trade, because it was getting to the evening for me, as you can see, it's around 9 p.m. by the time that hits. And on my futures accounts, I'm not allowed to hold trades overnight, even though I probably would have in this instance. So on my swing accounts, which I have with FDMO, I left them open. But on my futures accounts, I basically just closed this at 2R. It's 1.7R, so took half off here and then the rest off here. Got around a 1.5R on this trade. But you can see the vision, right? You've got this clean sweep all the way down to this perfect, look at this perfect little level of liquidity here. There's so many stop losses below. You come down, you take that level out, and then you bounce back up. Lovely trade all the way back up to the level of liquidity above. Never really came into drawdown on this one at all. We obviously had an initial bit of drawdown here on the pullback, but a lovely momentum to the upside. Once you saw this, it was always likely that we were going to come up and take this high. You see these time and time again in the markets every day, guys. Please do go and try this out for yourself, because this trading strategy is completely changing my life right now, to be honest. I've been getting a crazy, as I said, 80% win rate. With the break-evens as well, it's probably a 90% win rate, if I'm being completely honest. It's been absolutely ridiculous, to be honest. And when you realise how the market moves, the stop-loss hunting machine that is always going for that lows liquidity points, you really realise how obvious these kinds of moves can become for you. I'll leave it there because I don't want to waffle on too much, but I am really excited about this. If you do want to get signals and alerts for this strategy, you can sign up in the Discord down below. The private Discord, we've had a few people signing up recently. It's been really, really interesting to see what people think. Dailies, I'll basically do daily forecast of potential levels that we'd be looking for. So I would have forecasted this potential scenario here if we come down, sweep this low, etc. And I also alert trades in real time that I might be taking. So if you do want to get alerts and signals for this, do sign up below, drop a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.